This is a 1996 Vox AC30 6TBX P as in purple. So welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm Tommy Zamp. I play guitar in Get the Let Out, and I tour all over the country, and I like talking about guitars and amplifiers and showing you guys things. And if that sounds good to you, hit that like, subscribe, and that bell icon so you can be notified of when I put up new content. So that being said, the Korg Era Vox AC30, is it really the closest thing to the holy grail of the early 60 Vox amps? Yeah. So in today's video, I recorded 3 songs. I recorded Another One Bites the Dust, snippets of songs. Another One Bites the Dust. I did Sunday Bloody Sunday from U2 and part of the outro of American Girl by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And what I wanted to do is just trying to capture a little bit of the vibe that you can get from this amp and just share it with you, because this amp is amazing and you should know about it. So the amps built in the Korg era, they're widely known as the closest thing Vox ever got to the early 60s amplifiers. And everyone knows that Vox came about in the early 60s, and bands like the Beatles and the Stones, especially the Beatles, made them wildly famous, and everybody wanted it. And everybody's been using them since then. Everyone from, Brian May to The Edge, the Heartbreakers, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers used it. That's why I picked those 3. But also even more modern bands like Radiohead, The Struts, Tommy Zamp from Get the Let Out. See what I did, Vox? So I've been using the AC30C2 now for many years, many years. I've actually also been using it with Get the Let Out now for about 2.5 years. And it's never done me wrong. It's a fantastic amp in its own right. It just doesn't sound like the Korg era. And by that I mean this amp has more of a natural amp sound. You hear the tube, you hear and feel the tube warmth. This one's also loaded with Alnico blues, whereas the C2 has greenbacks, which you can get the C2 with blues in it as well. That's also an option. It's just not what I had. But there's a significant difference, and it's a little out of frame right now. It's sort of sitting over here. I should do a shootout. Maybe I will. Let me know in the comments if you want to know. If you want an actual shootout from the Vox AC30C2 and an AC30 6TBX Korg Era. I'll do all the same settings and try and get it as close as I can. But you let me know in the comments below. So when Korg took over, they wanted to recreate and get as close to the original design with a few of modern, upgrades. But basically they went back to using the same circuit that Dick Denny designed and used in '64 in the JMI Top Boost AC30s. So, but if you want a whole history lesson on the AC30 and Vox in general, there's a lot of great channels. I'll put links below. Rhett Scholl's got an amazing video. 5 Watt World did a really great history lesson. And if you're into the components like the transistors, capacitors, transformers, tubes, all of that, how to cut the traces on a PCP board, yada, 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 I'll leave a link to, you should go watch this video from Psionic Audio. Very in-depth, very well spoken, super knowledgeable. If that's your bag of tricks, go watch it. So Vox had a run of limited edition colors for this series of the AC30. First was in red, which they only made 100 of them. Of those 100, only 36 were actually available in the US. The rest were distributed throughout the world. Then they came out with their fawn or tan color, and only 108 of those were made. Now the tan color was it's Tolex that was left over from Rose Morris, which is who Korg bought Vox from in '93. But you'll know about that in history lesson videos that you'll watch after this. But of the 108 in the fawn tan color, 61 of those had the blue Alnico speakers in it, and the other 47 had Celestion greenbacks, which are great speakers too. Let's just be honest. Greenbacks, they're the real deal as well. And then in 1996, they decided, let's make purple. And I'm so glad they did, because I think it is one of just the coolest looking amps I've seen. The Vox AC30 in purple. They only made 146 of these amplifiers. And this, my friends, is number 146. All of the purple amplifiers also came with blue Alnico speakers, and I think because of the visual mojo, they sound better than any of the other two limited edition. But hey, maybe I'm a little biased. So I love the AC30. I never thought I would actually own 3 of them, but I do. I own this purple one. I have the C2 series, which I was using to get the lead out for a while. But when I bought the purple amp, I was going to bring that out on tour with me. But for as much as we're on tour, I didn't really want the road to beat up my vintage purple limited edition amp. And 2 weeks after I bought this one, another one came through on my radar. Literally right next door to a venue that we were playing at was this music shop. And Paul Hammond, one of the other guitar players in Get the Lead Out, texted me, said, hey, look, there's the same amp right here. So I went and I checked it out, picked it up. It is not purple. It's just a standard black with the brown grill. Beautiful, great condition. It has blue Alnico speakers in that as well. But that I decided to replace my C2 with. And that was a very wise decision, my friends, because it sounds insane. Now, being a AC30 owner and user for many years of the newer models, as in like, you know, the last 10, 12 years, they have a master volume on them, and it's incredible. Man, does that come in handy. The Korg Era does not. And unfortunately, that means if you're going to use this, you either need to be playing stadiums or you live in the middle of the woods and you have a stockpile of earplugs because holy cow, these things are loud. But if you don't have any of those things, then I suggest you look into getting yourself an attenuator. So I ended up picking up this. It's a Torpedo Captor X. Make sure you get it for 16 ohms right there. If this is what you're going to use for one of these old Vox AC30s, they're 2 speakers, 8 ohm speakers wired in parallel. You need 16 ohm attenuation. Don't ruin your new amp. This, however, only gives me 3 levels of attenuation. Full is, I believe they refer to that as stadium. The middle section is club, and the lowest one, is for bedroom levels. Sounds great. It's just I needed a little volume on stage between club and stadium level, and unfortunately this didn't do it for me. But still a killer piece in its own right. But I ended up going with this, which is the Dr. Z AirBrake, also built under license with Trainwreck. Really, really, really great stuff. Gives you different levels of attenuation, and then if on bedroom level, then you can roll it however you want, and just, you know, from minimum to wide open. But I'm looking at a screen here because I can't see what I'm doing. But either way, this is what I'm using and get the let out. I picked this thing up for like $300 off Reverb. Totally worth it. So I recorded 3 songs for you guys, and I wanted to keep the recording aspect of it simple. I used the same guitar through the whole thing. My Gibson SG Custom Shop 1963 Special. I got chewed out by a few of you. Gibson never had a custom shop in 1963. I misspoke. It's a Gibson SG Special Custom Shop 1963 reissue. Anyway, so I use that, and obviously I use this beautiful Vox in limited edition purple. It's just fun to say. It's fun to say. Try it. Pick one up, and then you'll tell all your friends about it. I've got a purple Vox. It's true. You will. But microphones I used was a Shure 57 and a KSM 313 ribbon microphone. And I recorded them in stereo through my Apollo Twin. I added some reverb on the track within Luna. I believe I used the EMT 140. And I used a little slap delay on the solo section for the Tom Petty track. When you're recording with the AC30, try using it in a textural sense, as in like for overdubs, especially on the bright channel. You can really get some intricate, clean picking stuff, and throw some modulation on it, soak it in reverb, and have fun with it, and you will be surprised at how amazing this amp is going to cut through on your mix. So a little side note for you. So I hope you enjoyed my video on the Korg Era Vox AC30. I'm very interested to see how they hold up to Vox's newly announced hand-wired series. I've only seen the snippet that they posted on YouTube a few days ago. And they're saying they're bringing it back the Holy Grail era like they did with these amps. And they're saying they're supposed to sound like the amps from the 60s, so we'll see. I'm definitely going to check one out, and, once I get my hands on one, I'll let you know. So anyway, in conclusion, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I have enjoyed making it. I've actually done this talking head aspect of it about 5 different times, because every time I hate the way I look on camera, or I hate the way I sound on camera. But you know what? You got to do these things and just have fun with it, and that's what I'm doing. So I hope you have enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below what you think. and hit that like and subscribe. Please share this video with all your friends and check out the links in the description box for Rhett Scholl's video, Sonic Audio, and 5 Watt World. If you want a history lesson on Vox, those 3 cats, man, that's all you need to know right there. Everything and anything. Anyway, check out the links in the description box. Hit that like button, share it, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Continue to be good to each other, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, cheers.